Hello and welcome, I'm Decidue, and today I want to try something a little bit different. See, I have this rare disorder where I find the world and characters of Twisted Metal Black fascinating beyond reason. I'm told the only remedy for this is writing, recording, editing, and publishing a video where I talk all about Twisted Metal Black. Sort of like releasing the pressure of an overexcited valve or taking a shit. So I figured this video is a great opportunity to do just that, while also being the first in what I hope is a series diving into the game we all know and love. Without further ado, let's do further with me, Decidue, and talk a little bit about Twisted Metal Black's Preacher. In Twisted Metal Black, Preacher is the driver of Brimstone, a white El Camino whose windows were replaced with stained glass for the maximum lack of visibility. As a man of ultimate faith and conviction to a higher power, he lets the Lord be his eyes and ears not only while navigating the darkness of Twisted Metal Black, but while driving these sinful streets of Midtown. Chained and shackled in the back is a poor soul who refuses to answer for their sins. Brimstone's special attack has Preacher convincing a follower that death is the only option for those who refuse to believe. A maniacal follower straps themselves with dynamite and hurls themselves towards opponents. Once he makes contact, he'll sacrifice himself in the hope that the opponent's sins will finally be redeemed. Preacher's real name is Jebediah, an evangelist traveling from town to town spreading the word of his religious vision to anyone who wanders within earshot. Due to some ticky-tack censoring by the development studio themselves, Preacher must say explicitly that he is not even a real preacher, at least not since the church had disowned him.
I wasn't even a real preacher. I was an evangelist, rejected by the church.
But that hasn't slowed down his efforts to one day bask in the glory of his Lord once again. Really, if anything, it's only driven him further and harder to be accepted back into the church's good graces. However, his own followers have started to suspect that his pursuits are just a clever disguise for his descent into madness, and that he will eventually find himself entangled with the oppressing blackness of the world he is condemned to exist in, becoming indistinguishable from what he fears most. When you ask the Lord for forgiveness, and all you see are obstacles, reasons to quit, it takes a true believer to see that it's all just part of the journey. Who could blame him for believing a higher power will lift him above the chaos and insanity? Or if you're Preacher, you're asking, who could blame me for anything? His story here begins when a couple joined him at his church. They brought with them their newborn child, so that Preacher could exorcise their baby from the demon they suspect was possessing it. In his hands, Preacher held evil itself, and so a spiritual battle was waged. Before long, the demon proved even too powerful for someone as devoted and loyal as Preacher, and claimed him as its next host. With the demon in full possession of his mind and body, it left only his spirit inside to cry out for the horror to end. The demon sank its unholy teeth into the depths of his mind, gnawing away at the switches and levers that allow him to control himself. It didn't take long before Preacher tore the church apart, killing everyone inside. There was power in the demon, giving Preacher the ability to do things he couldn't possibly do on his own. But the demon abandoned his body just as the police arrived, leaving him alone to grapple with what he's done. Despite his pleading of innocence, that he's blameless for the killing, that he was only momentarily the vessel of unthinkable evil, no one believed him and he was found guilty. He was taken to Blackfield Asylum. He hopes one day he'll have the opportunity to rid himself of the demon and to know the truth about what happened in that church, so that he can clear his name not only in the eyes of the law, but the eyes of the Lord, so that he can be accepted back into the flock and be ordained once again. Preacher lives in constant fear that the demon will return and inflict even more harm and pain on the people around him, and, more importantly, his standing with the Lord. Until one day, Calypso visits him and offers him a chance to uncover the truth, if only he competes and wins the tournament. Given no other path to redemption, Preacher agrees. Throughout the tournament, between battles, we get glimpses into the mind of Preacher in the form of short bits of dialogue that appear in this order. Can Calypso really kill the demon in me? Can he destroy the voice? If I win his game, will I be free? Innocents will surely be sacrificed today. Many of my flock live here, yet they surely understand why a man must free his soul. The battles, the blood, the death, this contest is brutal, and somewhere inside I think, my God, I think I like it. So, this is Minion. This unholy killer used his infernal shield to win last year's contest, but I will destroy him. Now do you see, it was the demon. He killed those lost souls and tarnished my good name. I hope the Lord will take me back. This place is as small as the hearts of men, and just as dangerous. Father, why do you afford me no sanctuary? 100 stories up. Maybe I should just jump and end it all. No, that is the demon talking. Dear God, make it go away. So this is to be my Armageddon? The law demands that I surrender, but I only answer to a higher power. In that dialogue, Preacher refers to the demon as a voice on several occasions, that the demon calls out to him and it's only through his willpower that he can deny it access to control him. On Brimstone's patient bio screen in-game, it shows he's diagnosed with schizophrenia and grandiose delusions. That is borne out through every aspect of his story, that the demon inhabiting him is represented as a voice in his head speaks to his schizophrenia, that he accepts that he will have to kill and destroy anything in his way because any means justifies the ends to save his soul, speaks to his grandiose delusions. Schizophrenia is a serious mental disorder that affects a person's ability to think, feel, and behave clearly. It is characterized by continuous or relapsing episodes of psychosis, which is periods of time where someone is no longer able to determine what is real or not, often taking the form of hallucinations or delusions. The exact cause of schizophrenia isn't known, but a combination of genetics, environment, and altered brain chemistry and structure may play a role. The mind is a powerful, flexible, and infinitely complex system of tiny sparks of electricity that provide us with the ability to operate our meat, to think, and yes, to imagine things big, small, bright, dark, beautiful, nightmarish, real, or fake. Sometimes in its flexibility, the mind forgets which things are which, what is real, what is fake. It's the same imperfect collection of neurons handling it all. It doesn't take much to trick a mind, especially when we so desperately want to be tricked. Perception creates reality just as much as reality creates perception. If you want to believe that any wrongdoing on your part was the result of some powerful entity controlling your mind and body, and that you should remain blameless for the damage you've caused, the powerful brain knows better than to stop you. When Preacher wins the contest, after wading through hordes and hordes of Sweet Tooth and fucking Roadkill just absolutely fuck slamming you into oblivion, he confronts Calypso, demanding that he remove the demon from his body and clear his name. Because the demon was responsible for the killing, not him, right? Calypso is hesitant to grant the wish as it's asked. Calypso only agrees to uncover the truth, but that doesn't mean it will clear his name. Calypso tells Preacher that the demon isn't real. It's just something he constructed in his imagination. The child that was brought to him for an exorcism was actually meant to be a baptism. It was all in his mind. His psyche was so busy twisting and bending reality to reconcile his irredeemable actions with his relentless pursuit for religious salvation. He is mentally unwell, unable to interface with reality as it truly is. And so all he can do is fill in the gaps with what he knows best, his religion and beliefs. His violent episode is not a truth he can handle, so he ends up recontextualizing it as a demonic possession. No matter the source of the harm, the pain, the destruction that is caused, in the world of Black, any goodness or righteousness that a man has is just another tool for the dark disease to infect and corrupt its new host. It incubates in the minds of many a men, even those who want nothing more than to bask in the light of their Lord, and all are instead cast into the abyss. Preacher tried to seek redemption, to pay a penance to find the light again, but nothing worked. Or maybe it did, but the evil, or the demon he cultivated in his mind, didn't allow him to realize it. Given no other earthly choice, Preacher throws himself from a building. Be careful what you fear most, because sometimes we become what we fear most. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And also let me know if you want me to cover a certain other character or another game or anything. These are always a bunch of fun to make. But above all, I hope you have a great day. Enjoy yourselves.